What's up, guys? John Sentez, Cutternation Baseball Podcast special guest, my friend from the South, from Georgia himself, Nick Tanner, a.k.a. the College Burnout, a.k.a. the Dragon, a.k.a. owned by the Hippo. Really want to say that out loud for everybody.
Chill.
I can say that because we have the evidence. I just want to give you your flowers because I have been enjoying your content and we've been talking about that for a while. And like, it's just been a blast to watch you evolve because I've really wanted this version of that. I have an idea that we'll talk about in the future that I think is the perfect podcast. And CC Sabathia kind of stole the idea from me, but when we're in the dugout and we're saying the thing that we're saying, and we all know it, and really mom's not around and like everybody's really saying the shit. I want to watch a ball game and like let that out because like there's a different breed of human that has played baseball, and you can appreciate either what's happening on the field, especially when you've seen it, and some of my greatest memories of baseball have been in the dugout with other dudes watching somebody else either go off on the field or dominate on the mound. So I miss you. How are you?
I missed you. It's a lot better now that I've gotten through the editing portion. I know that you're hard to hit off of, but these fucking jabronis on the internet, they don't get it. They just see the radar display board. They see my doors getting blown off with 84, 85, 86, and they're just like, bro, you suck, bro. And it's just like, you don't fucking get it, man. You don't fucking get it, and I don't want to hear shit about it.
Hey, I'm gonna I'm gonna get back to 90. I got a couple guys rehabbing, so that'll make it even more. Into the cutter will be back in like mid 80s, and the slider will be into the 80s, and the curveball maybe 75. So that'll just make it even worse for you.
It'll make it better for me from a content standpoint. Like, at least I have an excuse then, Like, at least people will look at it and just be like, oh, well, the guy's throwing 90,
Oh, this guy. It's funny you said that. I remember I played in this NBC World Series, and I played with this team. There was this coach that I had played with, and they needed a pitcher. Went out to Wichita and played. I'm 33 at the time, playing with a bunch of college kids. And the manager, it was like the last time he was going out there. He's been going out there for years. He's an amazing guy. So it was really fun to play with him again. And I went 2 CGs in 4 days, and in front of a bunch of college kids, and I was sitting 89, 91. And they were just blown away. They were like, what? Like, in the first one, I think I struck out 10 or 11. But it was just, like I told you, like, I can just throw 2 cutters in a row right down the middle. You're 0-2, and then I can just do whatever I want. Like,
God. Yeah. The worst part was like, I put a clip out about it where I got to 2-0, and I was sitting fastball, and I still hit like a weak little backside single. And I'm like joking as I'm walking out of the cage, like, it's 2-0 and I'm still fighting for my life. But I mean, that's really how it was. It was like, it's one of those days, just as a hitter, you don't got it. And then you're doing some funky stuff. And I'm just like, I know it's a fastball. And it's like, please, for the love of God, don't swing and miss again. And I wish I had some cooler clips, but, I guess the swinging and missing ones look pretty sick too.
It's honestly, sparring partner to continue to throw at 37. I have a lot of dudes that like out of that, like, you should hit me. If you face the same dude and you play the same level in the video game over and over and over and over and over, you're gonna figure the shit out. Your ability to like collect that fucking badge on each guy that you face is what's gonna make you an even dude, Like, if you drove across the country, you have no idea who I am. And I'm like, well, you don't even know what I know. Like, you have no idea. I throw 8 pitches, plus I can change arm angles.
It was rough.
Junior college, they taught me into going sidearm. I got up to 87 down there, and I hated it because I threw like 11 innings. Like this is terrible. Then they released me.
I've always been the opposite. I was more like a throw as hard as I can for a few innings and then blow my shit out kind of guy.
Never, shout out Eric Sim for making it finally a real thing. We'd all been saying it in college for a minute, or at least I was when I was down there, you know, but like as soon as you said that, coach didn't want you to have any fun. Hey, come on, let's throw some strikes. I'm like, I'm trying to throw fucking 100, dude. Like, come on. No, get the ball down, pull it back to 86.
Nope.
Get it down in the zone, make it sink. You're not going to get hurt there. Oh, really? Anyway, so let's get into, let's find out a little bit more. Let's peel some layers back. All right. I love everybody's origin story of how they fell in love with baseball. For example, I had your typical, you know, Hallmark movie. I thought I was good. We had the one kid that was better. He comes out. It's the first time I realized that I'm actually a little bit of a Jedi and I can control the ball. And I throw 3 balls as hard as I can right by this fucking kid and tell him to go sit down at 12. And his mom yells at me from the bleachers, "Don't be mean to my son." And then from then on, I just hated him. That typical stuff. You know what I mean? So do you? I know we have a Batman full outing as a cape. Is there a Bruce Wayne type story for you here?
I mean, baseball in general, just like grew up around it, having an older brother, having a dad that kind of got me into it. I always really loved it. There was definitely like a key moment in high school whenever I realized that I sucked. Like, thought I was a lot better than I was. Had some varsity playing time as a sophomore, didn't do that good, and kind of realized like, oh shit, like, you know, I need to start grinding. That was definitely one of them, but really not even then. It was after college baseball. College just like killed the love of the game for me because I just started treating it so I took it way too serious, just working as hard as I could all the time and not always like working smart, like just reps on reps, like, you know, just not necessarily doing what I needed to be doing, just doing what I thought I needed to be doing. Just hated baseball when I left, and then you know, started coaching some 13-year-olds, and I think a few of them were in here earlier actually. And just seeing the 13-year-olds go out there and just fuck around all the time, every weekend, just the way that they just really don't care about anything, but they're still going out there and competing. That shit made me have fun. That made me realize, you know, what baseball is supposed to be about, and that's kind of when I got back into it. And then I started doing these live ABs. I started doing men's league through the lens of like, hey, I'm going to go have as much fun as possible, regardless of the outcome. And, you know, yeah, my swing might have been a little cleaner. My eyes might have been a little more well-trained when I was training every day in college. But I think just as far as just talent, I think I'm better now than I ever was when I took it serious because for the most part, there's no pressure. You know, there's like the last time I went and faced Sim, I put a lot of pressure on myself. And you know, that's what happened. I shit the bed. It was because I started caring. And then after Sim shit on me, the rest of that whole trip out west, I just showed up and was just like, hey, man, whatever. We're going to have some fun. I don't care. Just talk some shit. But that was it for me. It was like really just seeing how much kids don't care and seeing how much they just have fun. And sometimes they took it serious, but sometimes they would strike out or give up a big hit and come back in the dugout and make a joke about some really dumb shit. And then it just kind of makes you realize like, oh, like this, it's really not that deep.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I think that's something I've talked about a lot of kids that's kind of missed in the mental side of the game. I honestly, from the start, and just in love with the game, you know, and always been in love with the game. And I feel like I figured out how to stay around it and have a family and survive a little bit. And, you know, in other cultures like MMA, there's a continuation and the understanding that like, that is a discipline, right? Like showing up and training and staying focused and having something that you're dedicated to, you know, like that is helpful. And I see a lot of college kids that do what you do that like there were guys that were so much better than me that like done with my 4 years, I'm done. I'm starting my life. I'm gonna be a banker. And I'm just like, what, buddy? Like, you don't want to try professional baseball? Like
Right.
once? You know, you don't even want to try it. And yeah, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that are very happy, but I remember, after getting hurt and coming back and then playing in Mexico and getting some messages from former college teammates of mine. They're like, dude, I wish I was still playing. And like, it breaks your heart. It really does. And it's just like, it also, I played in the men's league. I understand why you don't, like, because it's like, well, that's not exactly the version of what you thought it was.
Yeah.
Which brings me back to, like, I thought about this the other day. Can we just start like a machine pitch dick ball league? I think instead of slow pitch, let's go 75 dick jobs and just
Right down the cock.
talk with an L screen. I think everybody would enjoy that shit so much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because sometimes, man, like when you pull up to men's league and you're just excited and the guy's throwing 62 and walking the house,
Bro.
it does get rough. We did do a little bit of the we had a thing going for a while where it was like a kind of an indoor hit tracks league where we would do that. We'd set up the machine, cocked up 70 miles an hour, and just turn on hit tracks and just run. I think we just ran it like a simulated game, like a 3-inning game. We started putting like $250 on every game. And now, not everybody's going to do that, but some of my friends who are, have gambling addictions, they were all about it. But no, that we definitely had a lot of fun with that. And I know you guys have the machines and the hit tracks ready. So, I mean, I would definitely talk to some guys in your area about doing some shit like that, especially then you don't have to be out in the hot ass sun watching people play the shittiest defense of your life.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, honestly, you just gave me a perfect segue right there. We're expanding. We're going to do like we do now. But we'll have a bigger cage. We'll have 2 machines. We'll have 2 hit tracks. And so the training of this stuff of what we were doing, just like I was explaining to you, trying to show it as real as possible, is going to be even easier for us. So if you can see the ball, I think that's the issue with the timing thing. I don't think that throwing a bit closer or equivalent is equivalent as good as sending it from 55 feet at 90 miles an hour. I just don't think it's as effective. I understand that trying to show a reaction time thing to that, but you still need the ball travel the full distance just like it's real, especially with breaking balls.
Especially. Yeah, no, you really, and that's one of the main things that I like. I mentioned my swing may not be as clean, but I mean, I feel more comfortable with my swing than I ever have in my career when I was really training. But it's the eyes. The eyes is really the biggest thing. When you just see a ball moving that fast and you have to track it and time it up and watch it move, I just really think the vision is the most important piece of it. So, I mean, that machine's definitely going to help.
Yeah. So you say you're more confident than ever, and in your ability to play the game. You're comfortable. I don't think a lot of even young kids on how to get there. Was there a breakthrough moment where you realized there was like a version of a different way for you to do it?
Yeah, I think one thing that like really held me down for a while was one, I wanted to be a humble guy. I was raised, to be a nice Christian guy and everything. And so I always tried to be humble, but eventually trying to be humble became me stifling my own confidence and, limiting my own self-belief. And one big way that I broke free from that, it happened in high school, was going into my senior year. I was just like, man, I just need to up the douche level. And I'm actually going to make an ad for the sunglass company I'm working with soon, where it's just talking about like the best players in the game are just fucking douchebags. And it's just because they do not care about anything or anybody else except going out there to just ball. And so my senior year of high school, I just went and got an Evo Shield elbow guard, went and bought a little chain with a cross on it from Walmart, like just little things to just up the douche level. And then every day, kind of like positive affirmations, just like telling myself in my head, like, I am him. I am the best player ever. And at first you feel kind of silly. You're like, hey, buddy, you're not though. But then like day after day after day, you kind of start believing it, and that little bit of confidence makes you play a little bit better. And then once you play a little bit better, you believe it a little bit more, and it just becomes like this upward spiral where everything just starts working together. And I kind of lost that in college, and that was one of the big things is like you get around guys that are a lot more talented than you. You're struggling. You feel like you're behind. You can really easily lose that. And so then on the other side, that's kind of where this whole like dragon persona came from, is I just wanted something that just like had an intimidating aura that from the get-go put me on a pedestal, like I'm above everybody. And so that's why I like joke with people all the time, but I'm like, hey man, you want to up your confidence, you pick a badass animal to just envision yourself as, and you just start saying that, you build some hype around it, and then you just start telling yourself like you are that fucking guy. And you know, you're going to feel a little ridiculous sometimes, but eventually you start believing it. And the more outlandishly confident that you can be, the better off you're going to be. You know, yeah, you're going to look stupid. I look really fucking dumb when I yell dragon and I swing and miss at a breaking ball that's 4 feet out of the zone, or 93 blown right fucking past me down the middle. It looks dumb, but you can't be a 24-year-old dude with a kid scream dragon while you swing a bat and not mean it. You got to fucking mean it when you do it. So I mean, just shit like that. It really makes you completely buy in and believe in who you are as an athlete. And if you can't put yourself outside of your comfort zone to do some shit like that, then I just don't think you really believe you are who you say you are. If that makes sense.
No, I think there's a bunch of mental, books, mental training books that talk about developing the alter ego that is the assassin. You know what I mean? And that's the hippo, by the way, too. So
Yeah,
that's where,
yeah. Oh, I met him. Unfortunately.
you, Jedi, hippo, whatever the thing is that allows you to like turn on, that thing. The Conqueror, as I like to,
Yeah.
really enjoy. Ric Flair, it's interesting, as you get older and you learn about like roles and characteristics, and you can start seeing commonalities and how you do stuff. And, people enjoy a good heel. So I have to give you a little applaud to that. I think that the attention grabbing and stuff are there is really good. And that brings me into something you also that was put out recently, this YouTube sock puppets game, right? Let's talk about that, my friend. You know,
Yeah.
uh, I do appreciate the invitation. I know that you reached out. I want everybody to know that I was invited. Unfortunately, I have a child that is 16 months. I can't really leave California. I'd love to. I got friends over there too. I was already thinking about it. Like I'll fly in here, run over to my boy, say what's up, run over here, say what's up.
Could have
So
used it.
I mean, honestly, I would. I threw 152 pitches on Friday and live, and I think I could get 150 or so with you guys too.
God bless, dude. Yeah, we definitely could have used you for a few innings, and at the very least, having you on the mound so that I could go play defense somewhere else also would have been nice. Nothing against my teammates. We had a great group of guys, and I loved it. But yeah, it definitely hurts when there's plays not being made that need to be made. Because it's like, don't get me wrong, I was shitting the bed. I was
Yeah,
walking people. I was pumping 82 down the middle.
yeah,
But those are the days where you're like, please, for the love of God, make the routine plays, because a
yes.
3-run outing turns into a 5-run outing, which turns into an 8-run outing. And oh, it's content, though.
Okay, so that's hilarious. I really enjoyed, watching you go at, and your comments post pitch and everything are just hilarious, because I think that's as a pitcher, there is a mental that I can distinctly remember being like in Mexico, and there are things that happen post walk or homer or huge double RBI that you're just like unaware of, right? And I'll never forget. I'm in Hermosillo. I'm the closer. They put me in the eighth, right? I go first pitch slider. Guy hits a little dumpy over the first baseman. Guy from second scores. I'm pissed. I'm backing up home. As the guy touches home plate, they flash all of the lights in the place and then alternate from the light on with giant orange lasers because they're the oranges, the naranjas. Okay. And so like I'm blown away at this WWE show for a tying run in a game. And I'm like, it almost caught me off, like it really stunned me for a second. Loud like horns, the whole thing. And I'm just like, there's a concert that just happened, and then the ground started. The ground started, and so like I've never really pitched where the ground's rumbling when I'm standing or when I'm landing. Like that's a new feeling, and you don't really understand that. Whole other appreciation for a Matt Harvey or some of these guys that are pitching in front of 70, 80,000 people,
Dude,
and are able to like,
that was one thing that I tried to explain to people, and so it's like, yeah, I do think preparation with my schedule would have helped me calm down a little bit more because I didn't plan on doing the home run derby. I was going to use that time to really get ready, go through my process, work on all the stuff I just worked on with Tread, and just get myself right. And then Eric Sim kind of bullied me into doing the home run derby. He was just like, "Look, man, it's me, you, and Swingman." He's like, and he hates giving me credit for anything. He's like, as much as I fucking hate you, there are some people out there that like to watch what you do. You're a somewhat big name, even though you're still a nobody. He's like, we need you for the home run derby. So it's like from literally the first few minutes I get there, my schedule, the plan I had for the day gets uprooted. And then it's just like, do this, shoot this, get ready for this thumbnail picture, take BP. You barely have time to stretch. Okay, IO, this and that. And then it's like, hey, are we about to warm up? And then it's like the game is starting and nobody on our team has warmed up. Like, and we're just sitting there going, holy shit, like the game is starting. Nobody's warmed up, and we just realized like how much of the day has gotten away from us. So I understand preparation might have helped me a little bit, but it's the third inning. I'm going out there. I literally threw 9 pitches in the bullpen. I'm cutting the fuck out of every single one of them, nowhere near the strike zone. And I'm just like sitting there 9 pitches in, and I'm just like, oh my God, like this is happening. And then you walk out there, the mound's a little bit flatter than you're expecting, and then you just feel that energy of like, I mean, even though we were really good NAIA in college, I don't think we ever really had more than 100 people. Maybe when we went to the World Series, 200 people watching, something small like that. But, I mean, dude, holy shit. There were just so many people in the stands, and the energy was so high. It was like, I've done all the breathing, studying, and the meditation shit and all that, but I wasn't consciously freaking out. It wasn't a mental freak out. My body had this energy in it that I could not release. And it was just like, my body was overwhelmed, and it was just like, ugh. And it really did. Like, it took me a while to really settle in. I think I literally threw 8 or 10 straight balls to start off my outing. Like, walk a guy, almost walk the next guy. Like, it was just so rough. And it really just gave me so much respect for those guys that just go out there, 50,000, 80,000 fans. There's 100 million watching at home, whatever the hell it is. I mean, I definitely have a new respect for him. I guess you might get used to it, but
I don't really get to, there's a performance piece to it, right? Like in the minors, I'm not sure if you know that, but they do that stadium size is based on what single A, double A, triple A is, right? And they're trying to see if the athletes can handle the different crowd sizes, and testing guys. That's why you'll see bigger jumps, rookie to double or, rookie to triple, just to see, okay, this guy's 15 people in the stands. Who gives a shit? Let's see what he does in front of 5,000, 6,000, and the crowd's cheering, or he gets roasted on the road, from there. And there's just, that's just not talked about enough. And honestly, that's one of the things that I think every college baseball player that gets to the point, if you don't get drafted, all you got to do is go throw 93 and then go to an indie ball tryout, and somebody's going to give you a shot. Like, that's the minimum. That's all you have to do. That's literally it. Now, if you want to play and be the throw 95, throw 97, right? But that's only because that's what that league is doing. The league's already doing that. You can't avoid that. Like, the closer for the Chicago Dogs throws 97, which means you're not taking his job unless you throw 97. That's just the math. What it is. It's not. It is not an equal opportunity
I really
situation.
thought I was going to sneak in there with my 86, but I guess it's not going to happen.
Right. Exactly. So, it's that truth piece that I feel like is missing in a lot of the American baseball culture, that even though we're watching these numbers on TV, I think a lot of people misinform the process that it's impossible, which brings me a perfect segue into, let's talk about your tread experience. You told me that you were doing that when you were here. I was very excited about that. I love their content. I agree with a lot of the stuff that they do. And I feel like, hopefully I'll have an opportunity one day to go over there and talk to those guys, and have conversations, because I just, I want to be around other Jedi as well. I know you got to throw with arrow throws and some of those guys over there, but let's talk about, your experience over there with all those guys, and you don't have to necessarily give me any conclusions. I know you have some stuff that you're probably going to release with that as well, but
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that. No, it was awesome. I think the biggest thing I would say is like almost overwhelming, because I was there for such a short period of time. And so, I think if I was a high school kid going to do something like that, and I knew I had a couple more years in high school before the draft or before signing with colleges, I think it would be a lot easier to really take your time, build up one piece at a time, not feel like you have to rush. But I was there for 7 weeks, and I just got back from California for a month. I'm still living in a trailer with my wife and a kid. I'm having to commute 2 hours every day. I've got no money. I'm just barely hanging on. And then I'm getting to tread, and it's just like so many things that I just never known, never thought about, never heard. And it was a lot at first. But, I talked to some of the other guys there, and, a lot of people say like, hey, that's just, that's part of it. You're going to be uncomfortable for the first little bit. And then I did think about it, and it's like, if you go somewhere to learn and you're always comfortable, you're probably not learning too much, because if you're comfortable, you're in the same spot that you're used to being in. And if you're in the same spot you're used to being in, you're probably not going to go somewhere you haven't been before. It's, you have to have that level of discomfort. So, I mean, once I, first 2 weeks kind of got my feet under me, went through the correctives routine, just like getting my body to move a little bit better, got through my lifting routine, started to learn what each thing was, watched all my YouTube videos and stuff. I did start to get settled in. But even then, dude, I was up there for 7 weeks, and I knew that. And not only was I trying to look at it from like a social networking standpoint, but just trying to learn from everybody. Like, as much as I respect Aero and as much as I learned from him, I was just sitting there going, I want to take a piece away from every single person that I can while I'm up here. And so I just did my best to have a ton of little conversations with guys about things about my mechanics, things about pitching in general, things about baseball in general, life in general, and just took away as much as I could. But it was overall just an awesome experience. I definitely learned a lot that I can take back home, continue to build on once I get, my shoulder healthy, get my neck healthy and everything. The content it was really good content. It was just really hard on the ego, because as you just getting my doors fucking blown off with 95 every Friday, bro. It was just one of the coaches there, Scott Firth. I mean, he's been up to like 99 before. He just had a baby, so he doesn't really even train. he just kind of rolls out of bed and sits 94 to 96. And so the first Friday I was there, I did some live ABs against him and this AAA guy. And I got absolutely mauled. Like, it was terrible. And I don't think I put a ball in play against Scott the first week through like 6 or 8 at bats. And then I went up to him and I talked to him the next Monday and I was like, "Hey, Scott, do you want to start a rivalry with me while I'm here?" And he's just like a nice, quiet guy. And he was like, "Yeah, that seems like a fun challenge." And so I'm going to start releasing the content soon. But over the next 4 weeks, I was just like hyping it up around the place. Like it was just such a big battle. But every weekend, he's just coming in and just shitting on me. And it's like if I get one knock, the place just erupts. Like everybody gets lit. But I mean, it was overall a really great experience. And like you said, just being able to talk to other dudes who just understand the game, whether it's social media, baseball, the human body, whatever. But I definitely think they would probably love to have you come around and talk about stuff like that. Most of the guys up there that I talk to anyways, they seem like the type of guys that are just always trying to learn and take in new information and, just continue to develop their craft, because you can watch their own individual journeys before they got to tread or once they get to tread, and have worked with guys for years and just kind of watch how they grow. So, I mean, I think you would definitely have a lot of good things to bring to the table and then maybe get to just take bits and pieces of what those guys bring.
Yeah, everybody. I just like the systems over there that they put into place as well with how they focus on things, and you can see they're a lot about feel and reading and being able to do the best possible thing. It's always fun to see other what we call Jedi. You know what I mean? And there's a whole thing to this. And it's I think that having more treads and drive lines and Cutternation, it just does nothing but help people enjoy the game. And with I love travel ball as an idea of like the competition is better, but condensing games for the sake of at bats is not the right idea. It's not how you do it. And so, I having more of these facilities that are promoting these live ABs, like, we can possibly get back to a league season model that allows for just a little bit more. Baseball's a weekly game. It's not a 2-day game.
Dude, some of those tournaments are fucking crazy. The Lake Point stuff, the PBR.
Like in Little League, we had a 3-man rotation. I was Saturdays, 2 other kids that were right there. Each kid threw like 3 or 4 innings. You had a reliever with, like, literally of the 12 kids, you have to have all of them pitch, like, just because of. And so it's like that, like, and you got freaking Jake Savicki's kid pitching first game in the morning and then game in the afternoon. Like, what are we doing? Why did he throw 2 innings within 10 hours? What are we doing?
Not everybody can be John Sentes and pump out 150 a day.
But even then, let's not disrespect the guy, like, because you're holding the illusion of winning for the team and sacrificing your body for the team when it's not the process. That isn't how it works, And so, I think showing up so ill prepared is kind of what forces these tournaments into these bad situations where it's like, man, it's not fair to these people to like have 3 pitchers and try to go play a freaking tournament,
And that's what I love what you do so much over there. And I think it was actually like the very start of how I found out about Cutternation was I was getting my start on social media and I just started seeing all the live at bat stuff. And I loved it so much. I just always loved seeing the clips of it. And that was just one thing my dad used to always say growing up that I just didn't value enough until it was too late. Is he just said, the most valuable thing you can possibly do is just go get live at bats. Just go take live reps. And I wish I would have understood it more and had a place near me where I could have done it at a reasonable price and just, you go put in the hours and the hours and the hours of the training, and you do what you need to do. And then once a week, you can roll in to a facility and get 15 at bats just like that. I mean, dude, 15 at bats, that was multiple tournaments, or, one, packed in weekend of perfect game. And you're talking tournament costs, jersey costs, travel costs, sunburn, food, shitty food sometimes, and it's still fun. You still need to play a lot of baseball to be good at baseball and have the game IQ. But it's like, I just think about how much easier things could have been and how much more I could have developed, because it's like game IQ, yeah, that's huge. Base running, huge. Defense, huge. Not a single thing matters if you can't pitch to a guy if you can't pitch when there's a dude in the box. Not a single thing matters if you can't hit when there's a guy on the mound. And so it's just, it does irk me that we're so caught up in this whole travel ball, 50 games a weekend, thing, when you could just go to a facility near you, put together a group, get 15 to 20 at bats for, 20, 50, $100, whatever it is, and then spend the rest of your week training. Because like you said, if you throw 93, you're going to get signed somewhere. But there's a lot of kids out there that are doing this year-round travel ball thing that, okay, that's great. You put up great stats. Your team won some championships. You throw 82, bro. Have fun in D3. Like, that was me. It's like D3 baseball. I'm sure that's fun. You're probably not getting drafted, though.
Savicki will get in here. Savicki, you got to send a request, my friend. I'll send it here. I'll send you an invite. We'll get a legend in here. Yeah, and there you go. There he is.
Now, what's up?
What up?
I like this combo. I just wanted to jump in and listen and chime
Yeah.
in here. How you boys doing? Good?
We're doing well. Oh, we were just talking about how much fun it was for our little battleground that we had in there. And you and I are West Coasters, and I feel like we could have contributed to that YouTube game over there. I happened to watch that last night, and I told them I was disappointed in the efforts that I saw through. If it known a little more about this and had a little more time to prepare, and I didn't have an 18-month-old daughter right now, I feel like I could have given the team 150 pitches or so.
So soft, bro.
At least. I figure if you can give us 150 in a facility, you were good for 250 out there if you needed it.
Jeez, dude.
I'm still blown away, dude. I've told like 20 people about that. Whenever that video surfaces, they're like, oh, live ABs, that's sick. I'm like, yeah, this dude that threw, like, I got to tell the story to everybody. I'm like, he freaking threw 160 pitches and then apparently rolled back the next night, or that same night, to pitch to his kids. And most of the coaches that I like throw BP with over the years, I tell them, they're like, that's impossible. I'm like, you would think, but I was blown away. Yeah, I think so. Next year, we got to get out there. I know the Dragon, you talked to me about that game. It didn't line up for me, but I got to get out there and go. That's a good time. That looked like a great time.
Oh,
Hey,
dude, yeah, we
need a West Coast one,
Yeah.
Well, I think he actually has one set up that's going to happen against the Portland Pickles.
There you go.
In a few months.
That's a quick flight for us, sir.
That's not too bad for you West Coasters, because I think he said Will Taylor from the Baseball Bat Bros might be at that one.
Hey, I would love to for YouTubers on my list. You know what I mean? I'd love to start crossing them motherfuckers off that list. No, I'm telling our guy.
You would.
I got 7. We've been competing a little bit, so I think I'm gonna get the arm back to 90. We're expanding, so I'm just gonna make it a thing. Matter of fact, one of our opening video plan is the guy deal up for us to move the facility. He played a little ball, and he's like, "Hey, you want to do like a realtor versus John thing?" I said, "Hell yeah, absolutely. Let's really get all the realtors over here thinking that they can play baseball. Let's do that. Come on, guys. Come on, man."
I love that.
It's not as easy as it looks, guys.
It really isn't. And it's fun, too. Like, those were the first at-bats I took in literally, like, 10 years. And I went home, I'm like, I got to go hit the cages. I want to do that again, like for real. Like I want to. I'm 36. I have no reason to do this, but I want to do this now. Like
Yeah.
when I go to like practice with my daughter, I got to cut out 30 minutes for me to hit too. Like go hit in the weight room. It kind of gives you something, which is cool for us. It gives you something like that you actually. It's like you're training for something again.
Yeah.
You're doing something. It's cool. You know what I mean? Like, and we can have fun with it. There's no pressure of like. There's no contracts, there's no scholarships. Like it gives us something, I think, a little after the playing career, a little later in life to go, this is fun, dude. This is good. And we're competitive. So I don't think we're competitive. So it's really all the same, being in a box in a cage or being out on a field. Like that competitive nature kicks in pretty quick. It makes it fun.
Yeah, it just sucks running to right field, and right first part. That's the worst. All the way there.
Got to get the first base dugout.
Dude, there's something funny. I saw it on Jake's story. Probably like a few weeks after that, it was like a picture of him at the gym, and he's like, I got to work out for 2 weeks so I can get in shape enough to work out. And I was just
That's
like,
the truth.
I got back into lifting when I got back home, and I was like, damn, I felt that. Like it took me 2 weeks of like, all right, I'm gonna do things in the weight room to prepare my body. 2 weeks from now, I'm gonna really start working out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be in shape to get in shape.
I do not. My wife is trying to get me to do that honeydew list Saturday morning, and it's like, look, we're a little slow here. The right, we're moving ginger, babe.
Yeah.
I love it rather than a walk around the store, babe. Let's be a little more efficient here.
Yeah, might as well. Hey, I like real quick. I don't want to take you guys too far off the topic. I like what you were talking about with, travel ball and playing and where's the balance? It's an interesting conversation because I've always thought, John, you do it, I do it, we all do it with whether we played travel or coached it. I ran just like you, John, a facility for a long time, had a bunch of teams, and people would always ask me like, "Oh, you think it's good?" My answer was always like, "No, I think it's just necessary." Like you have to, I wish they could go play basketball for 4 months and go play baseball for 4 months and go play football, but the reality is like the necessity comes in when if you're trying to go to your high school team eventually, obviously that's kind of everybody's goal at some point, whatever. There's a lot of travel ball versus high school now, but John, I guess we're in SoCal. There's zero argument for how important high school baseball is for these kids. Like this is the best of the best. Florida, not much different. Georgia, not really. Those are like between Florida, Georgia, Texas, and California. That's where it is. So I mean, I watched Mickey Moniak go 1-1 overall down here, and when I strolled out of my office to play him in high school as a coach, I saw like 5 GMs, 50. They didn't even bother with scouts anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane. Like, you won't see that at a perfect game showcase for one guy. You know what I mean? And that's not a situation for everybody else. I told my kids, I'm like, look, guys, I'm not trying to be rude here. Don't buy into this. Like, there's no D2 scouts here to see Mickey, so you're not getting scouted today. Like that's AJ Preller, and these are GMs. Like we're here to play baseball, whatever.
They're not really going to make a call, guys, so don't waste their time.
Exactly. So I just, for me, seeing the high school down here, it's such a big piece, and you get later in the season, and these guys. You never know where somebody's going to be in travel ball. You don't know what your next game is on a Saturday while you're playing your first game. Oh, well, if we win, we play over here maybe. If we lose, we might play there. So these guys, they'll see you out there at travel ball for sure. And then when they go to when they like you and they go, hey, we really like freaking the Dragon. Let's go see what high school he goes to. And then he goes to this high school and they go, cool, here's 30 games where we know where he's going to be. And then we can match up against, oh, this dude over here is a D1 pitcher who's supposed to be going today. We can go watch him take it at bats against him, and that's a guarantee. So the high school stuff is big, yes, but I just don't think you can avoid, as long as I was listening to you talk about like throwing guys at tournaments because you almost have to. Everyone has to pitch. Everyone, in order to get through it healthy, it's again, it's a tough one because there's the money in it, and it's like, you are there at that tournament, you go get your reps, but if you took away the money, I mean, you're going to play a kid because they paid to be there. You're going to get these kids in and probably overwork them because again, they're here and they paid. But look at high school. How many guys you work with that in high school they're relievers and they throw once a week and they're happy with it because they know that's the role, and they're not paying $1 million to be on that team. They're just, yeah, I'm the reliever. This is my role. I'm a sophomore. I throw maybe 1 to 2 innings a week, maybe. Next year, it's probably going to be long relief or starter. Who knows? But there's more of a realistic, like, everything they're going to get after high school is all exactly what high school's like. It's not what travel ball is like. They're not going to go anywhere and play 8 games over the weekend. They're going to go to school, and they're going to, just like they did in high school, and they're going to have to go to class. They're going to have to eat and train and do all that, and then get on the bus. And then when they get drafted, that's clearly a different life. That's just baseball all the time, 24/7. But you're also probably, take out the high school guys, you're also probably 21 and have a better chance of navigating that world. But I just think that now, I mean, like you said, with the money, these kids are playing because they're paid, and they're pissed that they're not playing. We paid to be here, but you don't find that many pissed off kids when they know their role in high school, because it's free. Essentially, you pay for a few things, but it's there's no money involved, and that's why I think it's realistic, and that's why I think a lot of people get bent out of shape when they're like, well, I'm this, that, and the other thing on my travel team. It's like, well, your travel team, you're paid to be there. Of course you're gonna play. Of course, you know what I mean? When there's 30 guys that try out for a high school team, and you happen to be the second best shortstop, and there's also an All-American second baseman, you're going to be the backup shortstop. That's the way it goes until something happens. So I don't know. I wish people understood, really more than anything, that high school is as close to what you're going to get at the next level. It is the next level, just amplified.
Yeah, it's a weird process, to say the least. I mean, it's completely different as far as seasonal and training too, with 3 games a week, 2 games a week, 1 game a day, right? It's a different. We grew up on a different thing. You said it as well. Like, I just think I remember my all-star team. Everybody pitched. I remember my middle school team. Everybody. In high school, it got a little different, a little further. We had like 4 pitchers, but we had 2 games a week. And like, me and one of the other guys were considered serious pitchers, and we would get 6. You just threw 6 innings. Like, it's just what you did. You just threw 6.
Yep.
Oh, it wasn't like a pitch came out. I wasn't like, I remember distinctly my senior year, all 4 of us seniors having, like, everybody knew. Coach didn't have to tell shit, right? If I pitched, he played first, and he played right, then he played short. You just rotated. That's what it is. Why are you playing first? I pitched yesterday. I can't throw. I'm going to go from there to right. Why? It's a little easier. And then after that, I'm kind of fresh. I can make that play at short, then let's hop on the bump. You know, like, it was a rotation that made sense. It's just kind of what happened. And then when I got to college, the difference of the positions were more obvious in roles, but that conversation of understanding is convoluted. The travel ball roles, just like you said, and so nobody understands. You know, parents are confused. They didn't play. They don't understand. The kid's just the system trying to do everything he's supposed to, but yet he's told every day he's good enough to play at Stanford, even though we know we probably, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, right? Right, but
Likely doesn't, but you know,
he's running in. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say your kid's gonna go to Stanford, have a preferred walk-on spot, like it's the same thing the kid that got flown in and got 80%. You know, like, it's not the same thing. You know, and the more I'm watching, you know, it's fun to watch all these YouTube things. We're watching these kids play and stuff. You can see these 13 and 14-year-olds throwing 93, 90. And like, that's been happening for 30, 40 years now. And because of the information is getting out there, we are more of these kids, but it's also, they're being brought to these main. And I think that's where the missing culture is. If you played, Jake, if you were okay with 3, if you were okay with 3 tournaments a year, and they were spread out a month, and everybody was going to be there, and that was the travel ball scene, what would you be able to handle? Was that something that would make more sense to you instead of playing 40?
Yeah. I think, if, like you were talking about right before I came on here, if there's spaces like yours that exist for live at bats against your kind of competition, and when I say your competition, I mean you have this space where a 13-year-old oh, shoot, a 10-year-old can go hit against the Dragon. Or that same
Fair
10-year-old can go hit
competition.
against, yeah, that 10-year-old can go hit against 10-year-olds. You know, you've created this space where a minor leaguer can face minor league arms, a high schooler can face high school arms and get all that. If you were to go do that and go get your 3 at-bats or your 3 tournaments, like you just said, showcase, whatever you want to call them, in a year, it's really the way to go, I think. I mean, to me, I say the same thing when I coached high school. I would tell all the parents, stop going to all this stuff. Pick 3 things, save your money, and over the summer from like your junior to your senior year, that summer, if the kid was an absolute stud, young, it takes care of itself. He's going to get seen, picked up, whatever. But if you're like every other high school kid, which is probably good enough to play at the next level if you want to, because a lot of what it takes is just you've got to be willing to go anywhere. There's a D3 out there. There's a junior college. There's a D2. They're there. I've seen it personally. I've sent kids that want to play to anywhere. You got to be willing to go. But I tell them, save the money on all the stupid stuff. Trust me. I know where your talent level is. It's not gonna make sense. What you need to do is wait till junior to senior year summer when you're as developed as you're going to get as a high school kid, and then go pick 3 schools that fit you academically, talent-wise, all that, and go to their individual things. Those are money makers for them too, but it's going to be you and 30 other kids in front of the coaching staff, or who knows, maybe some players, whatever. It makes so much more sense to go put all your eggs in like 3 or 4 schools basket and see if that makes sense academically, again, talent-wise, baseball-wise, division. It just is such a better way to go, but everybody's got wrapped up because, like you said, they don't know anything, and they're being told by, you know, whoever, the college, the travel team that is going to 5 different D1 tour, we're going to go play there. It's like, well, but what are you going for? It doesn't make sense. Like,
About this too, there has to be a qualification system.
mm-hmm.
Like you have, like in NASCAR, there's certain tracks they don't do time around the track, they do speed. You have to get above this speed to enter the race, right? Like that is D1 baseball. That is professional baseball.
Yep.
And it's just not talked about because we confuse that with the strategy of a game. And that's coming from the people that literally never did it. That's not the people that did it. And that is not talked about enough. And of course, in the arc of how many people that actually did it, there's such a disparity, right? Like the best coaches in the world, they're not coaching high school baseball. The best coaches in the world, still not in college baseball, right? They're making the most money probably privately, independently, with whoever's working with Jacob deGrom. By the way, let's just throw that out there. We know somebody's doing something with him. Probably we know Scherzer does stuff. We know Kershaw goes places. But these guys don't want to give away those secrets. And so
Yep.
that route, that story that's told, the Little League World Series thing, is just like, it's not a thing. It's just because you're unfortunately, as America, we are in a very small lens. Like, because we don't see the Dominican kids playing 1 game a day and all they do is live at bats sun up to sundown, and there's 100 pitchers at the same field, you know, like you're not gonna see it. And the guys that I played with, you know, they told me they intentionally don't tell the white guys why you won't see a documentary down for the Cuba. I talking about Cuba's developmental at a youth age.
How many
Yeah.
How many people you think would be absolutely blown away to find out that the Major League has their hand in every little Puerto Rican city down there somewhere? Like, they have their own. My buddy got a job with the Padres, and his first assignment was, see ya, you're going to Puerto Rico. He's a pitching coach. I'm like, dude. He's like, yeah, I'm going to Puerto Rico for 2 weeks. And it's like, that's the reality of what it is. But do you know how many people, like you just said, blown away if they found that out? They knew that the MLB is like just as big of a role in there as anything else. That's where the future is, and they do it a certain way. But like you said, they don't want anybody knowing that. It's just crazy.
Sorry, Puerto Rico doesn't play tournaments on the weekends, guys. Hate to tell you.
They're just out there grinding. But you know what? They're also out there to get off the freaking island. You know what I mean? Like, they're playing for such a whole different reason, man. And it's a grind to them that I think that's a big piece of what you see here. Like I told my high school kids, I'm like watching them one day, all stressed out about stuff. I'm like, you guys are stressed as like 15-year-old kids playing baseball. Like, because you think that some scout's going to be here, you're going to go for 3 and get taken off a radar. Like, I went to an Angels game yesterday. Well, this is back in the day. I'm like, I watched a bunch of dudes that are probably a legitimate 0 for 4 day away from like going back down to double or triple A. That's just the facts. Like, those guys get cycled through more than you know, but you constantly see the superstars' names, so you don't really pay attention to the fact that a lot of guys are coming up and down, left and right. Like, I'm like, these guys are out here dancing to the music 3 minutes before the game starts, having the time of their life, and they're about to go from 4,000 a day to 4,000 a friggin' year. Like, you know, why are you as a 15-year-old high school kid stressed about this high school game? Like, have some fun, dude. That's where, and I'm not a big fun guy like, oh, let's just have fun and see what happens. You're going to be your best when you're having a good time. That's the bottom line. It's like, learn to play where you understand it's a game, but it's also important. But man, at the end of the day, you're playing baseball, and the more relaxed and fun you're having, the better you're going to be.
Also, there's a level of, if everybody's good, that's more fun, right? There's that thing, right? Like, and I think that's a myth, right? Like, you know, just we've got a college summer team going on right now, and we played a 9-inning game the other day in 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we gave every person on the field a challenge for ball and strike because we had TrackMan out there, and that really created a fun environment. That was awesome. And the TrackMan came back with a 4-second. Oh, and I believe the stat we said, it was like, of the 7 challenges, 5 of them were correct. And so, like, that's the call, right? Like, is what it is. You know, everybody's, and our umpire was like, we were all talking about it. He was nails, dude. He was nails, because he knew, like, he didn't have, he could go line to line, but if it was borderline, like, he could make a call on it, whatever. And he was asking after each inning, and I'm literally showing him the iPad, and I'm going like, yeah, dude, no, that was a ball. I understand. I get it. That was a strike in literally every other league, maybe even the big leagues. But according to this laser guided system that we are trusting right now, you were correct. And he was even like, dude, it's so much easier to like understand that. And that kind of upset me too, because I was like, well, why the hell do we not give the fucking umpires the iPad? Why don't we give heads the shit? Because the union doesn't want it? Well, fuck, in tennis, we put it on the screen. Why don't we put it on the screen? You know?
Yeah. Yep.
Then there's no, oh, let's not slow the game down. Well, now TrackMan works in 3 seconds. I'm sure if Major League Baseball invested more into TrackMan, it could probably happen in 1 second.
Right.
Probably if HitTrax can do it in under a second, I guarantee you TrackMan's a couple ideas away from, oh, there it is.
Yep.
Check that out. Look at that. You know? And we want the human element. I get that, right? But the challenge system, I think, is going to be very fun. It's going to change.
I don't want the human element. Fuck that, dude. I want my fucking strikes when I throw a strike. And when I take fucking 95 an inch off the plate, I want my goddamn ball. I want it.
By the way, most of them were interesting too. Like 2 of them were pitchers where there was a weird check swing on an up and M. The umpire gets blinded, and you only know that if you played the game long enough. And so he called it a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a weird, funky thing. Pitcher goes challenge. Nope, that caught the up and in corner. Ha! It's like, yeah, dude, how about that shit? Right?
That's pretty cool.
The other one was like a weird check swing, right? Same thing. He's kind of looking at both, ball and the bat, right? Umpire calls strike. Batter goes challenge. We're like, okay, well, I guess we can see the swing here on the video on TrackMan. No swing and laser guided ball. Wow. Flip the whole at bat.
That's crazy. That is sick.
Right?
I don't see what, I mean, that's the tough part for me too. Like, you look at the Major League Baseball, you go, these guys are the best of the best, like, in the world. And you leave a piece of the human element. That'd be like at the Olympics, like, now we got 2 people at the end with stopwatches. So this 100 meters is going to be determined by, hey, you know what? If there's some human error, there's some human error. It's like, well, these are the best people in the world. Like, I think they deserve perfection if it exists. So
when 4 years of training comes down to a 0.01 second difference,
yes,
I want to fucking know. Like Michael Phelps, he beat somebody, and I think it was literally 0.01. And it's like, yeah, that's such a good point.
You can't tell from the replay, and you can't tell from the human eye. I think my thing is like the amount of work these guys put in. I used to say it in high school all the time to umpires. I'm like, we work hard for this, dude. Could you just do the same for 7 innings? Like, just work hard. I don't get it. I mean, when you got a guy that, you know, sits out there and he's been working on something in the cage all week, he's in a slump, and he gets in that bat and it starts off 0-1 when it should absolutely be 1-0. You're like, that just sucks, dude. That's a week worth of work. And now he goes straight to like, you got to now battle the irritation you got going on from that call. You got to put yourself in I'm kind of behind in the count, instead of going up there with maybe we worked on not missing your pitch, you know, while you're ahead in the count. And now you just get to start off behind the whole time and screw you. Like, it doesn't matter what we worked on, ditch it, go to the 2-strike approach. It's just like, it's tough. And I think they deserve the best of the best. At least those guys deserve perfection if it exists, really.
Couldn't agree more. It's and really, you know, I would love to have a conversation with Major League Baseball, because somehow a nobody that never played Major League Baseball is able to set up a system in the middle of a college game. Oh, and by the way, we played 9 innings in 2 hours and 45 minutes, by the way.
I know it exists. There's just a reason. Like you said, the union, it exists. They know it does. I got to imagine it's a matter of time.
Right, exactly. It's an annoying process that's what it is. But
Yeah.
you know, it's how we talk to the fans. You know, in golf, you can tune in. You don't know what's, but some beautiful man with a nice accent tell you why that shot was beautiful and explain it. Right? He's gonna, you know, and he's gonna go, you know, the club degree 3 degrees, get right underneath it, hit the divot, so he bends it around the tree, it hits the hill, spins the correct direction, goes 25 feet 6 inches to the pin. I do now, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. I would love to be able to say, do you know how the front door on Alex Rodriguez, when you know he's bailing out and he has the quickest bat speed in the league, and if you miss 2 inches to the left, the ball's going to leave the yard?
Mm-hmm.
My God, that's a small hole. Let's see if he can do it. Oh my God, now we're looking for it. You know, I hate to talk about the freaking hot dogs out there. It bothers the shit. And I get on immediately every time I watch the Padres, because I'm just like, if we talk about the hot dog day one more time instead of the spin of the ball as it goes through the air, then I'm going to lose my.
I hear that. I hear that big time.
Can I get a subscribe to that one? Can you guys release that channel for me, Major League Baseball? I'll take that one. I'll pay for an expert to talk about it, please. None of this, you know, Joe Schmo stuff, you know? It bothers me to watch it, you know? It really does. Where I'm just like, man, it'd be really cool if I know how this freaking ball moved as it was going towards the hitter. It'd be really nice to know that Luis Urias is throwing 6-foot curveballs today. Oh, and
Yeah.
biggest curveball ever thrown, Barry Zito, 12 feet. Holy shit, right? Like
Would be sick. Did you guys see, speaking kind of about this, how hilarious, that Chipper Jones clip that resurfaced just the other day about him in the booth, and he's talking to one of the guys broadcasting is a guy, when Chipper was playing, he asked him why he swings at the first pitch so much, and Chipper's like, oh, I don't know what his reasoning was, but the guy's like, you just never really get a strike or a fastball. And they're like, Chipper's talking about, he's like, yeah, you remember that? They show the clip, and it's like the day that he asked him that, and Chipper's in the box, it's 0-0, first pitch, fastball's just cocked. And Chipper like gets out of the box and looks up at the booth, and he's like, shakes his head, disgusted. He's like so pissed. And they go, it's like live now. They're all in the booth together. Chipper's retired, but he's laughing. He's like, I just remember being so pissed that I let you, a dude that sits in the booth, change my at bat. He's like, I was so pissed. He's like, well, you ended up with a walk. He's like, that's not the point.
Yeah. You're not swinging the bat, Dick. Yeah, exactly.
But to your point, like, it was great commentary because it's Chipper Jones talking about his approach to the plate and why he was doing what he's doing. And if you could watch a game, I think when I really actually liked when A-Rod first got in the booth, the way he talked about baseball. It was awesome. Even the end of the World Baseball Classic, I've rewound it and filmed it on my phone because I loved what he said. He's like, if you look at this Japanese team, man, they played baseball. They bunted. They hit and run. They played baseball, and they are literally considered now the best team in the world. Like, because they played the game really the way it's supposed to be played. You can't tell me there's more talent on the Japanese team than there is on the American team. They're just not trying to do the same thing. They're trying to go yard. They're trying to play American baseball. Where you look at the Japanese team and go, well, that worked much better than the American stuff did. I mean, you shut down an entire team of USA guys that is very good. And the only way I think you really do that and blank them 1-0 is that what it was? 1-0 is by them hurting themselves more often than you hurt them. If those guys wanted to go up there and barrel baseballs in a gap or get it through the infield, they would score a couple runs. That's all there is to it. But when they're hacking the way they're hacking, it's easier.
The game was so good too, especially like we had all of the things that help us play the game because I think both sides understood, right? We had a good pace of play. We had every pitch was important, which is kind of what is missing. And when we talk about with baseball, where yes, base running, yes, ground balls, but like the game is the pitcher versus the hitter. That's what it is, right? We had Ohtani and Trout going against each other in a situation where everybody's going like, holy shit, here we go. You know what I mean? And like, if he gets him, then we're tie game, and now it's a high leverage, right? And even with that, like, I really want to push for like a fan voting all-star live AB. Let's do that. Let's put a matchup together and fuck running to second base. Make it a point-based system that if the ball goes so many feet, you get points. And let's watch Ohtani throw 25 pitches to Mike Trout and be like, all right, well, fuck. What would happen in 3 in a row? We don't get to do this. Let's do things we don't get to do. I am over the Cadillac ball game, and giving away the like I'll take a Camaro all day, guys. Chevy, I love you to death. But fuck, dude, I do not give a fuck about your Camaro. I want to see Mike Trout face Ohtani. I want to see 30 pitches,
Mm-hmm.
to face someone. I want him to get out there and us be like, okay, let's look in the history books. Who's on this lineup that has not faced Aroldis? Let's talk about that. Goes to that.
I want to see some of the skills competitions too, just like random shit, just like who can throw a baseball the furthest. Just
What kid said this the other day too. How about this one? You know how they're throwing the balls up in the stands? How about like a ring game from the outfield to the stands?
literally just more stuff like that. I mean, like, I'm not anti the all-star game, but it's like you got that many people there for all that time just for a dude to get an at bat or throw an inning, or it seems like a waste of time to a degree. I think they could really amplify what they get out of it.
All right, I'm gonna throw it out there, Jake. We were talking about earlier. I think I have an answer to men's league, right? Let's go 80-mile-an-hour machine dick jobs, right? Just all-time pitcher, and you get 2 teams together, right? Now let's do that. Let's go 90 middle, right? So you don't need a pitcher. We'll have the L scream. Everybody still plays defense. A ball game. There's your high-scoring game. Just middle 90. All right, boys. Let's play ball.
It would go so much faster. That'd be awesome.
Strikeouts hurt a lot worse though.
I got freaking K'd up by the machine 3 times today.
I was sitting off speed. I don't know. His sequencing is really getting to me.
Hey, and if you knew it too, like if you knew it, it would be good. It's like, all right, hey, look, these guys we got we better score. We can't hit that shit. That 5th inning through the 7th inning, we know we're getting 85 to 90, and then in 7th, 8th, and 9th, we're getting that 90-92. We better put some runs up in a hurry. It would be a fun little game.
I think it would be way more entertaining now, especially because, like, I'm sure Jake, the worse the ball, the more the flare on the machine, and the faster you throw it goes. So we get big league balls with these beautiful machines. We're 10 holes for every pitch.
Launching, but you're gonna get some balls launch. That'd be a great time. It'd be a great time.
Short, like, oh my god.
Yeah, I like the idea. I'm in. It's the Sunday morning 8 a.m. down in San Diego to get me, though. You know, that's a 45-minute drive. I'm like, dude, I'll see you about 8 minutes before game time. Roll out there, swing the legs back and forth, and get going.
There's a North County League up there too. I think they play in like
yeah, they're like San Pasquale and stuff. Yep. I get in on that.
We were going through the content, and I was watching the video from our man Nick here, and I was looking at your swing again, and I was like, my guy, you know, like he's got it. He's got it. You know,
swing is solid.
I gotta like legitimately swing now. I need to go like practice a little bit. It's what I used to do in high school. So I would step directly on top of the plate. I'd get the umpire would back me off the plate like almost every at bat. I'm like, I'm just trying to stand as close as I can. I would swing a 33. I'd choke up like an inch and a half and just say I couldn't go to the right side. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna create an inside pitch on everything. And I would like step in the bucket, but it would like I'd be so closed off, it would just even me out.
It would even out. Yep.
Oh, dude. Now I'm like, oh man, I'm stepping in the bucket that's like over in the dugout. I need to clear that step up and stay in the box. But that's what I mean. Like as a competitor, I watch those at bats. I'm like, I think I texted you, John, like the next day. I'm like, I gotta come back, dude. I'm gonna go hit the cage for a week or two and come back with some real swings. But it was just fun to get in there and see it and like give you something to kind of work on. It's no different than you, Nick. Like go into tread, which what a cool journey that was to follow. You know what I mean? And watching somebody go just try to get better. There's a goal, like and it's just fun for us. You know what I mean? But I got to get down there, John, and take some ABs, especially and for you too. So you can be on pitch like 1 through 60, not 90 through 120 when you see me.
if you're then before you jump, then I was like, yeah, appreciate that.
I had to get a scouting report on you first.
It didn't fucking help when like that whole time out in California, I was struggling to hit. Well, not against Coach Rack, but I guess he's not really a pitcher. But he actually threw harder than everybody else, and he was the only one that I did decent against. And then you and Sim are throwing 85, blowing my fucking doors off. Jake was there for both of them, by the way, which was awful. I'm just sitting there. I'm driving home, and I'm just like, all right, I got to post a clip of me actually hitting something just so this guy fucking knows.
Dude, I left the facility. They were like out there in Arizona. They're like, yeah, I just came by to say hi. Like they reached out a while ago, and I'm like to do some content, and it didn't work out. It was actually with Bauer, and they just threw it out there, but then he signed and left. I'm like, all right. But I was in Arizona. I'm like, hey, let me at least come by and say what's up to you guys just before I leave. And they're like, oh yeah, Nick and Juco are doing a battle today. I'm like, cool. I'll just say what's up real quick. I cruised in, and I told everybody too about this. I laugh. I'm like, dude, I went there. I said, Sim's in there throwing against the net to himself, warming up to pitch. Nick's over there like full eye black off the tee. I'm like, these dudes. I'm like, everybody in there was like, oh, what's up, dude? What's up? These two guys, they didn't even fucking look at me. They were like getting ready for war. I'm like, oh shit, they're like really into it. You ended up coming up, saying what's up for like 3-4 minutes, getting back to work. And Sim, I don't know if he just, whatever. He's an amazing dude. I love that guy. But I don't know if he was just like, oh, cool. What's this guy doing here? But he walked out. He's like, what's up, man? I'm like, what's up, dude? Good to see you. He's like, yeah, good to see you too. And like went back to work. I'm like, okay, this guy doesn't like me. And then I think when he's like, your job's to talk some shit today. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I think you get a little respect there where I'm like, fuck you. But I even said it afterwards. I'm like, man, my job was to sit here and talk shit. But now I just feel bad because Nick, this was so bad. He was so sad.
Dude,
I was like,
so pissed.
Not because of what I said, just your performance. I'm like, I felt bad even saying anything halfway through because I'm like, he's clearly just devastated.
Dude, that was the worst part is like, I had people texting me saying that like they had a hard time watching the video because they knew me, and you could see that like, so like it just starts off rough. I'm just not seeing the ball. I don't know if maybe fucking eye black indoors wasn't the best idea. It starts off like a shit show. And by the time I get to the mound, the point system is so fucked that it's like I have to strike him out 3 out of 5 at bats just to have a chance. And so like the camera comes over to me to say something, And I had people tell me that, like, he comes over and I'm looking in the camera and they could just see the defeat in my eyes. And I was just like, I had people text me like, yo, did you see King of Juco just dropped y'all's video? And I was like, I don't want to fucking watch it, bro. Like it's one thing to buy a trailer, sacrifice all of your money. You're about to quit social media, but you're just like, let's give it one last push. Let's drive out there and beat the dick off of this douchebag. You get out there. Not only do you get shit on, but then you have to edit the video. You have to go through and, oh yeah, I look like shit there. Put that in. Oh, he just said something funny shitting on me. Put it in. And it's like, and then editing, it's, you got to watch the video 50 times to make sure it's good. And you're just reliving it. And so then people are texting me, hey, he dropped the YouTube video. That's fucking sick. He's not getting my view. Fuck him. Like, but no, dude, I was legitimately really angry after that one. And I remember leaving the facility and I had one of the dudes that's like rehabbing up there right now is like, you're leaving already? And it's like, dude, I'm going to do something I shouldn't if I'm here for more than 5 minutes. Like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I think I think Eric thinks the same thing about me. I got separate outings against him where I think I've rolled a couple ankles, broke a couple bats, had him sprawled out a few times. And it was even when we shot the content there, like, and Bauer didn't, it was my first time meeting Bauer and we were talking, and like I had just literally coached 5 ball games, so I was exhausted. And I go, he's like, yeah, we're just gonna swing at random objects against you. And I was like, you're gonna do what? And he's like, yeah, we're just, we're gonna swing all, and it'll be cool because when we hit the ball, it'll explode. I was like, you want me to just throw heaters? And they're like, no, like, just do your thing. We'll just, you're next pro, so it'll be fun. And I was like, are you sure? Like, this is what? And he's like, yeah, dude, just go ahead. And I'm like, all right. And so I just went at him. And like you could see, I start off a little off, and then I find it, and then I'm just start like nailing the outside corner, just everything. And you can see he's just like, what the fuck? And I was like, buddy, like I thought we had a conversation. I could spread the out, I could kill the spin rate, we could put it middle, we could have some fun. I'm down to dick it a little bit. As a matter of fact, we on Friday we had a bunch of other college kids that were suffering from a college summer league, disease, as everybody does, where when you drive 2 hours, you get walked 3 times, and then you drive 2 more hours back. That is rough. And so I had a couple of kids call me that I've trained for a while, and they're like, hey, can we just get in there and battle? Can I just? And I was like, sure. I was like, do you want me to, throw some heaters? And they're like, yeah, it'd be nice to see some fastballs for a strike. I said, how about this? We'll go 2 ABs, all heaters the whole time. And he goes, okay. And so we got some best hits up, and I go like belly button 82, and they're just like, what? And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, to put it on a tee like that, and then you be on time for 400. That's so fun.
Wait till you see the video I've got dropping in like 2 or 3 days of Jake taking me deep. I sent him the edited video of the DMs yesterday. Dude, it is fucking hilarious. It's gonna be great.
That is a good one. That's a real good one. I like that. That was a fun time. We gotta do it again, all of us. Same group. It's gotta be like same group round 2.
Hey, we gotta get Coach Rack in there though, all right? I want them short. I'm gonna take them short shorts from him. I'm gonna put them on the wall, all right? I'm coming for them shorties, all right? Hey, Chubbies, get those cheeks on your, right? Because if anybody knows the Chubbies guys, send Coach Rack some Chubbies, and then we're gonna put hippos on them, and I'm gonna take them and put them on the wall, all right?
Oh, these are Coach Rack's shorts from that day? Is this a shit stain in them? Is that what that is?
Yep.
That is
right there.
All right. All right, I got to roll, fellas. Thanks for letting me drop in. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks.
All right, I'll see you, dude.
Rod, thank you so much. It's been awesome. I'll get this out everywhere. Love you. Talk to you soon.